One of the common complaints or questions that I get from viewers when they watch my content, whether it's via email, whether it's in the comments of videos, people always want to know, are they doing it right? People always want to know, does this stuff really work? Because they've been doing a technique for X amount of time and it seems to be yielding no results. And with that said, I'm here to tell you that techniques always work. And the problem isn't the technique, but the problem is this one thing. But before I get into today's video, I want to let you guys know if you guys are interested in joining Tim and I's high ticket SP Mastermind program, the link is always in the comment section below or in the description. So don't hesitate to reach out to us if you want real transformational work to help get an SP back or to manifest a new SP. Also, as well, if you would like to work with me one-on-one, don't hesitate because my email is always in the description below. The number one reason why anybody would question if a technique is working or not is because of time. Simply, a lot of you out there are extremely impatient when it comes to manifesting things. Because again, the sensationalism around do this technique, say these 3 words, and you'll get it in 24 hours, or they'll come back in 2 days, or they'll come back in 3 days. And a lot of you guys are constraining yourself because you are putting your manifestations on a deadline. You are telling yourself it needs to happen by summertime. It needs to happen by the fall. I need my person back, or I need a new person so that by Thanksgiving, they can meet my family. By Christmas, we can do all of these Christmas activities together. It's nonsense. This type of pressure is stressing you out and is exactly why you think that a technique is not working. It is never the technique that isn't working. It's your thoughts and perceptions about the technique that is not working. That's what the real answer is, and that's what the issue is. Techniques always work, but just because you don't get what you want when you want it does not mean a technique is not working. The problem with a lot of you is you'll try something for a month, maybe even 6 months, and you'll say to yourself, oh, this isn't working. I don't know why I listened to this content creator's advice, because if this really worked, then I would have gotten what I wanted in 30 days or 60 days or 90 days or whatever the time frame is. I would have already gotten it. But I want you guys to understand something. Think about me in my situation. For those of you that don't know, I was able to manifest contact after not hearing from them for 5 years. And when I say no contact, I mean literally no contact. I had no idea where they were at in the world. I had no idea if they still had my phone number. I didn't have their phone number. I had no idea about anything. No contact, no nothing. If I was able to get contact back from a person after not hearing from them for 5 years, and if I had took the approach that techniques don't really work, because when I had started consciously trying to manifest this to happen in 2018, I had started at the beginning of 2018, which obviously is January, and I didn't hear contact from that person until a little less than 10 months. Towards the end of October is when I got the contact from this person. Now, if I had taken the approach that a lot of you take, because the approach that a lot of you take is, oh, it's been 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. I haven't gotten what I wanted. I could have easily taken that approach and said to myself, why didn't this happen yet? It's been 3 months. Why didn't this happen yet? It's been 6 months. Why didn't this happen yet? It is now early fall. It didn't happen yet. But see, I didn't have that approach. I knew if I stayed diligent, like Neville said, if I tested it, if I continued to stay consistent, which is what my thought process was, I said, I'm going to get this to happen and I'm going to manifest this contact. And like I said, towards the end of October in 2018 is when it happened. Thank God I didn't think like how a lot of people think and say, oh, it's been 3 months. I'm going to quit trying to consciously make this happen because I can't do it, because I don't believe in my powers. I don't believe in myself. I don't believe in none of these coaches no more because I'm just a Debbie Downer. And now I doubt everything that I hear because I did something for a short period of time and it didn't work because I got caught up in the sensationalism of believing something is supposed to happen in 30 days or 60 days or 90 days or even less. The truth is, a lot of times when you hear those stories about people getting things very quickly after affirming, you don't really know what that person's backstory is. You just read a comment and you listen to that person's story and you think, oh, look, this person might have got whatever they wanted extremely quickly, so maybe I can. But you don't know that person's story. You don't know if that person has trauma or not. You don't know what that person went through as a child. You don't know that person's love life. Because in my opinion, from what I've seen, The least amount of stuff a person goes through as far as relationships and trauma and baggage and all of that type of stuff, the easier it is for them to manifest. See, when you haven't gone through a lot of stuff, in my opinion, it's easier for you to manifest because you don't have those doubts in the back of your mind. You don't have that baggage that you have from 5 or 10 failed relationships. You don't have that baggage that you have of losing $1,000,000 or losing $500,000 or losing $5,000 or losing $200. You see, when you go through stuff, these things put up walls and they build mountains that make it hard for you to climb and get past. And in my opinion, this is exactly why a lot of people have a hard time manifesting whatever it is that they want because of the baggage from their past. As that saying goes, the past and the future are two thieves that rob you of the present moment. And anybody that follows manifestation, you constantly hear certain teachers talk about staying in the present. The present is now. You are rich now. You are with your SP now. Everything is happening now. And the hard thing for most people to understand is how to be in the now. Because quite frankly, most people in life, you are constantly living in the past or you are constantly living in the future, which is why you have anxiety, which is why you have depression, because thinking about the past is going to cause usually depression for a lot of people. And thinking about the future and living in the future, which obviously this is all happening in your mind, all of that type of stuff is going to cause anxiety. So you have to stop thinking about the past to get rid of depression, and you have to stop thinking about the future to get rid of anxiety, and you have to basically cultivate all of that feeling and emotion of whatever it is that you want to manifest. You have to bring that into the present. Again, as you always hear me constantly say, religiously say, it is easier said than done. So give yourself grace, because a lot of you out there don't give yourself grace. And also stop falling into the trap of thinking something is not working because it hasn't happened when you want it to happen. You know, there's that debate about divine timing. You know, people say, divine timing isn't real. There's no such thing as divine time. The time is whenever you want it to be. Again, that sounds sexy to say. Again, you get hyped listening to that. But how many of you can actually apply it? Not a lot. And don't be upset, because most people in this world are in that boat. Not a lot of people can actively get this stuff very quickly and make it happen. In my opinion, that is due to the baggage that you come into this with. If you come into LOA with a ton of baggage, a ton of trauma, a ton of failed relationships, a ton of money problems, a ton of poverty mindset, a ton of all of that, manifestation most likely is going to be hard for you. The more work you are probably going to have to do to climb out of that. Now, that is not the case for everybody. There are some people that come into LOA with a lot of baggage and they can get out of it relatively quickly. Everyone is built differently. But from what I've seen, most people that come into this or anything else, therapy or whatever the case might be, with a ton of baggage, it's not going to be some overnight success. So again, I want you to pull from my story. Remember my story whenever you are going through something. If I can go 5 years without hearing from somebody and not knowing where they're at, and then actually get them to contact me after not hearing from them for 5 years, and I stayed consistent, you can do the same thing. But you got to get rid of this idea that just because it didn't happen on your time frame, that it doesn't work. Because if I had thought that and I could have quit at month 6, I could have quit at month 7, 8, or 9. Think about if I would have quit and said, oh, this doesn't work, and then I just stopped. I would have never known what would have happened. Maybe I would have never gotten that contact. Maybe I would have gotten that contact. The bottom line is we don't know. But the bottom line is also, I stood the test of the challenge and I passed the test of the challenge. I didn't waver. I didn't say, oh, it's 9 months, it doesn't work. Oh, I'm on month 10 and it didn't work. No, I stayed consistent. And that's what most of you have to do, is you have to stay consistent. It's like that old analogy of the person that's constantly digging and digging and digging for gold, and they give up. They don't realize how close they are actually to the gold, and then they give up, and then they don't realize if they would have just dug 2 more feet, they would have reached the goal. But they stopped and they turned around and they went back the other way and they quit, not realizing how close they were to the gold. So I want everybody out there to realize how close you actually are to the gold. You are so close to the gold, you don't even realize it, which is why it's always great to have reassurance, which is why it's always great to have someone to talk to and to keep you on track. I recently just spoke with someone who we were going over some plans, and I gave them a plan on what to do and a meditation to do, and they did the meditation, and when they got done the meditation, they literally got a text from their person, and they got a text from a few more people from their past that they used to talk to. And think about if that person had stopped and said, oh no, this isn't working. I only did it for a month. I'm not getting results. Or it's been since the fall and I haven't heard anything back. I'm going to quit. This person didn't quit. This person reached out and worked with me and worked with Tim. After the first time of doing something, all of a sudden they get contact. This could be you. But the question is are you going to give up or not? Are you going to quit just because you don't see the results that you want to see on your time frame? Think about if all of these great entrepreneurs in the world quit. Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, anybody that has ever become successful at anything, they could have quit at any given moment. They could have quit after year 1. They could have quit after year 2, but they didn't. And look at what they have. It's because they kept going and they persevered. Same thing with relationships. Look at how many people have successfully built and cultivated healthy relationships because they didn't quit based on whatever they went through in the past with whoever their person was, whether it was something good or whether it was something bad. These people continue to persevere, and that is the name of the game. The name of the game is not necessarily speed. As you guys have heard me say in the past in some of my videos, I don't want to move fast. I want to move correctly, because a lot of times when a lot of you guys out there move fast, that's when you make a ton of mistakes because you're so caught up with, I need to get this fast. I need to get this when I want it. And then what happens a lot of times is you get it and then you lose it because, quite frankly, you're not ready for it. And that's the hard facts that people don't want to hear. A lot of you guys have no idea how big of a blessing it is that you actually do not have a person in your life right now. Because I can guarantee a lot of you out there, if you had a person in your life, you would probably fumble them, because you would probably relapse back into old insecure habits that caused the breakup in the first place. So understand it is a blessing that you are by yourself right now. And you can take this time to really revise the past and do all these techniques to get out of the past, to get out of depression, to get into the present moment, to learn and unlearn these habits, to unlearn thinking about the future all the time, to get rid of anxiety, because the only thing that matters right now is the present moment. You are the present moment. Everything that is happening right now is in the present moment. You're always in the present moment. If you feel like you're not in the present moment, that's because you don't have control over what is going on up here, because the present moment is all that's ever real. The past is only real because you're keeping it alive in the present moment. The future is only real is because you're keeping the future alive in the present moment, even though the future hasn't happened yet. And that is the predictive programming trap that so many fall into. So you got to be careful and understand the present is now. Your desires are now. Your love is now. Your wealth is now. Your healing is now. The power is now. The time is now. Manifestation does work. The techniques do work. Do not quit. And you will see the magic of what perseverance does. And in 6 months or 3 months or 1 year or 2 years, or whatever the time frame is it takes for you to get your manifestation, you will look back and you will look yourself in the mirror and you will say to yourself, I'm so damn glad you didn't give up just because you didn't see the results you wanted to see at the time that you wanted it. And you'll thank yourself, and your person will thank you, and your family will thank you for whatever it is that you wanted to manifest, because you staying consistent helped everybody in the 3D benefit. So they have you to thank for that.